There we go. This is it. Oh, start the timer. Boom. Oh, Dion Flynn here. And what happened today? I was driving, we're out here in the country. We're having a good time. We're away from the city. I was driving, listening to the radio, and I heard Prince's Little Red Corvette. Guess I should have closed my eyes when you drove me to the place where your horses run free. And it all came back to me. Prince and him first appearing on MTV back in the early days. And he showed up on MTV fully formed. There was concert footage of him when he was doing Little Red Corvette. So I'm just becoming aware of this guy, but already he's got a following. He's got this whole life. He's got audiences that are going nuts over him. And he just arrived. He seemed to arrive, like I said, fully formed. And I was reflecting on that. I never thought about it that way, but that's why it sort of swept me up. And maybe there's something that they were doing back then to package performers, where it would just take one concert, I guess, or some even fake concert. I don't know what Prince's history was before that, but I just remember loving him. And he was African American, and he was Italian, and so was I, African American, Irish, and Italian. And I just couldn't believe this person, was, I don't know, he was just great. And all that energy coming through MTV was just huge. And I was driving down the street just thinking about that today. Because I felt a little ill when I saw all the pictures. And he was like basically having something of an orgasm while he's singing, Gonna close my eye when you draw me to a place where horses run free. Anyway, speaking of that, I exposed myself on the hiking trail today, not myself physically, of course, my ignorance by asking a passing, traveler, hiker, where we could, just something about, what was it, I wanted, a scenic route that we could drive nearby, because he looked like, he might know, or, and my wife is there, and she doesn't know, how to answer the question until I ask the guy. Now, I, as a man, I don't like to break that distance between, me and strangers and ask for directions. But when I do it, I definitely don't want my wife chiming in at that point with information that heretofore she did not have access to. But now that I've got this man looking at how ignorant and unmanly I feel that I appear to be on this trail with my son running around nearby, then she starts putting in her input. And I gave her a hard time for it, and she laughed. So anyway, there was that. And later we were driving around, and I was telling Amy, my wife, about this little red Corvette moment. And as my grandfather used to say, I shit you not, a little red Corvette drives by us. Now, I mean, you can verify this with my wife. If my face doesn't look honest, or it looks like I would just sort of prostitute the truth in order to just have like a good and interesting something to say, which for the most part I wouldn't. But my wife was there, and she was like, do you realize that you're talking about Little Red Corvette? A Little Red Corvette just passed us. Now, to be very fair, it was more of a like deep bronze, reddish bronze, like that. But it didn't matter because so few of those are even around, and then there one was. I got some tomatoes out here on the honor system. I took my wife to a meditation group, and then dropped her off, and I had my son, and there were tomatoes. There was this place that was selling, it said plenty of veggies, right? And I drove by it, and then I drove back by, and then I drove back by. I was like casing the joint, because I get scared stopping at places that are rural, I don't know if people are going to be, I have old vestiges of fear about people being racist or whatever, and I'm just nervous around people I don't know, too, just beside, race and stuff aside. Anyway, I stop, and it's on the honor system. There's tomatoes, there's this glass case full of zucchinis. You don't see this much in Brooklyn, a bodega or a deli or a store just open saying, just leave the money in the cash box, make change with the money that's there, or mail me a check, she wrote. And I felt so good, though. It really gave me a burst of happiness that someone trusted people that much. I stole all the money, but, those tomatoes were good. Now, of course, I didn't steal the money. It made me feel really good to be trusted like that, just to be trusted, that person had such a blind faith in humanity. And maybe the sad part is that I don't live in a world where people behave like that all the time. So there's that. I've noticed that when you're at a red light and you're looking through a map, the red light changes green very soon. But when you... That's my time.